We are back at it again here with the On Deck Circle podcast. I'm your best friend in the world, Dynasty Daddy, Nick Z. You can find me on Twitter at nzanaboni93. I tweet some fun stuff, mostly about television and sports. Occasional rap thing. Who really knows? All right, it's time for my favorite part of the week, and I'm pretty sure Dave said last week it was his favorite as well. The question of the week. First, I'm going to call in Jason. Jason, what's cracking?
Nick, Dynasty Daddy. I like that. you make you nickname yourself. I like that. I like that. You have to change your.
I mean,
you should change
no one's done it yet, so
yeah,
might as well be me.
Yeah, I like that. Let's keep that going. Let's get that on Twitter.
Yeah, all right. I'm cool. We'll try and get that trending.
Speaking of Twitter, you can find me at JRBex on Twitter.
Can't think of a good one for you off the top. That's fine.
Think about it.
Yeah.
I was the question. I like the questions too, so let's get it.
First off air, we just learned that Dave does hundreds and sometimes thousands of DFS fantasy football lineups.
He should be DFS Daddy.
DFS Daddy Dave.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
it works. All right. So, question for this week for you, Jason. Do you have a category that you'd like a question of?
No, just hit me something.
What do you listen to, like new music?
I do.
What's like your big new music?
Like category or
no, like just like a recent album you've listened to.
I actually stumbled. I mean, I didn't really stumble upon it because it's one of the hugest hits right now. But the Kid Laroi,
the one
of his most recent albums. Yeah, but his album, I don't know the name of it, but it's one with him as like a devil kid.
Yeah.
I think it came out in 2020.
Yep.
It's fire. I listen to it all the time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I watched the VMAs the other day. But
okay.
And like my girlfriend and I were like, who the hell is this? But apparently he's huge.
Oh yeah. And that's kind of how I stumbled upon it. Well, he has that hit. And then before that he had that hit with Miley Cyrus, I think, came on. And
yep.
So, yeah,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
You listen to the Lil Nas X album at all?
I have not, but I so it's funny because Spotify claimed it as his debut album, but didn't he have an album like?
It was like an EP. There was like 4 songs on it, but man, it's fucking good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
It's like actually really good. So I'm excited about it. I would love to see him on tour. He's brilliant on Twitter.
I don't think I follow him on Twitter.
He's just so good on Twitter. He just like whoever his like marketing team is just like chef's kiss. It's so good. All right.
I was trying to find the name of the CD that I've been listening to a lot. And like I said, it came out in 2020, so don't quote me. I don't know the name, but
did you watch the TV show Dave?
Of course, Little Dicky.
Yeah, but did you watch season 2?
Yep.
Did you? I cried so many times.
So the whole season, I thought was, really bad compared to season 1.
Yeah.
But then that last episode, it made the season worth it. I feel like that was the whole build-up.
It was a whole thing.
Yes, the season finale was epic.
It was so good.
Not to spoil too much, but yeah, the VMA part was epic.
All right, Dave. Speaking of Dave, wow, what a fucking segue. Come on in, my guy. Did we lose Dynasty?
No, bro.
There it is.
It took me a second here. DFS Daddy in the house, boys.
Yeah.
What's going
DFS
on?
Daddy.
Hey.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
I mean, what's funny is once upon a time, like last year, during baseball season, my Twitter, not my handle never changed, but my name it would come up Dynasty Dave. And then this time of the year, once football started, I would switch it to DFS Dave.
I remember that.
Yeah. So when you said that, I was like, well, you know what? I actually kind of did that. But then you said that, and I was like, well, I'm changing the name there. You know, we're gonna go. How do we do this? We're gonna go DFS Daddy, like obviously. So
let's go.
Love it.
All right. Speaking of that, Dave. No, I'm just playing. Have you ever listened to the podcast Call Her Daddy? No. All right. No free ads.
If you're interested in sponsoring the program,
they have a lot of money. Anyway, here we go. Dave. Fuck. I can't do the same question. Damn it. Shit.
So you realize that you've got like 6 days and 23 hours in between episodes to come up with a question. Okay.
I told you I'm swamped. All right. So it is Sunday. It's not Sunday, but it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
You're at home. Are you a red zone guy? Like
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to. I mean, I have to. Like first, like couple reasons.
As DFS Daddy, you need to be.
Yeah. I mean, as a Lions fan, there's no game worth watching on TV. So that eliminates that. And then B, I like to sit there and watch, all the games and do the red zone and keep track of what's going on. And
what are you eating?
Usually nothing.
Perfect day. What?
Yeah, usually nothing. I'm so focused on my phone and on red zone, keeping track of everything. I mean, like you said earlier, you're talking about, we learned before the show that Dave will have like hundreds of lineups.
Yeah.
And, well, week 1, I had roughly 1,200 lineups in. Last week was a little light. I think I only had like 950 or just under 1,000. I think it was like 960 something to be exact. But yeah, that's how we roll. That's how we roll, man.
That's how you get the name DFS Daddy right there.
Yeah.
And I'm just
the game.
I'm watching that cheddar roll.
So you like a cheddar roll, a nice cheese roll.
Nice cheese.
Yeah, I mean,
cheddar.
I mean, I do like cheese, but I don't usually. I'm not like usually worried about eating.
No?
I'm not usually. No, I guess I never even really think about it. I don't even think about it. Like, I don't really. I guess I probably get hungry like in between like the end of the afternoon games and then starting to build my lineups for the showdown. The Sunday night football game. Then I'm probably like, oh shit, I'm hungry, and then I'll make something real quick. But no, I don't have like a spread. I just nothing spread are my legs out in my recliner, man. Just sitting there watching
DFS Daddy with his legs spread out.
That's right. Got to let the hog breathe.
You little pig in a blanket.
DFS Hog Daddy.
All right. Well, that was lame. Food's like the best part.
Winning money's the best part, son.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
It's all about the experience, Dave.
Yeah, I guess so. So speaking of good experiences, why don't we get into our first little bit of news here, Mr. Beckner?
Let's get into some baseball news because that is still going on. I know football's taking over.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. I forgot. I forgot about baseball.
Yeah, right. But so the Rays' top pitching prospect and one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball, Shane Baz, made his MLB debut yesterday. Baz, who was yet another piece in the deal that the Rays absolutely fleeced the Pirates for Chris Archer. Sorry, Pirates fans, but they got fleeced. Shane began the year at Double-A, where he had success, and then continued that success there at Triple-A as well. So far in the minors, Baz has made 17 starts and has an ERA just above 2. He's got a WHIP just below 1 and has struck out 113 batters in 78 innings pitched. Yesterday, Baz took the bump against the debut to make his debut against the Blue Jays, where he actually did a really good job. He lasted 5 innings, surrendered 2 runs on 2 hits, which is actually just 2 solo home runs, struck out 5 batters, and had a CSW of 32%. So, I mean, all in all, great. Just another line of Rays pitching prospects to come up and just
unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, they're just churning them out there in Tampa Bay. But what are your guys' thoughts on his debut? Do you foresee him being a part of the? I know this is obviously not Giants related, but do you see him a part of the postseason roster for the Tampa Bay Rays? And what's his value dynasty wise?
Dave, can I go? Sweet.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Oh, all right. I think he's definitely going to be a part of the Rays for the postseason. But what was really interesting, I read the show notes earlier today, which is crazy for me. I know.
Yeah.
So I looked into his start last night. He only threw 65 pitches. And he hit 5 innings, which is obviously you want him to go further than 5. But 65 and 5 is very efficient while still having 5 strikeouts. So that's 15 pitches right there. And then he threw 51 strikes.
No walks.
Yeah. That's really just what you want. You want someone to pitch a strike to the hitter and swing and miss. But I don't know if he'll start. I think he'd be a pretty good piece out of the bullpen for them in the postseason.
Well, you know how they do. They could go
opener.
4 innings of McClanahan, 3 innings of Boz, and then so you never know what you're going to get with them. But yeah, I've always been a big fan of this guy, and he's definitely made drastic improvements this year, which has got him to the big league level. I don't think that a lot of us, at least I didn't think that he would get there this year, whether it was injury or just performance. But if you look back at his numbers, his strikeout to walk ratio has never been terrible, but it's never been really good. And if you look back here, if we go 2017, now we're only talking about 23 innings, but 19 Ks and 14 walks. Well, that's not good. We don't like that at all. If we go to 2018, now we're up to 52 innings and we have 59 strikeouts. So we'll take that, but 29 walks. So not terrible, but not great. And then we get to 2019. Now we're up to 81 innings, 87 strikeouts. So he's still maintaining that, K per 9. And then we're at 37 walks. So pretty similar to, 2018. But then in 2021, we see a massive jump. We had 78 innings in the minors. I know Jason covered this, but 78 innings in the minors with 113 strikeouts. So now we've jumped well past 9 per inning, but he's only got 13 walks. So that's showing me a massive improvement, in command. And we saw that carry over against obviously a very tough Blue Jays team. For him to go 5 innings on 65 pitches, he strike out 5? He gave up 2 hits. Both of them were home runs. Right, exactly. No walks. That's exactly what you need to see from him. And, we'll talk about my down on the farm later. And it's a pitcher. And it's a guy that is, got command concerns. And the last thing that a pitcher usually figures out is that command. And I think that's exactly where we've seen with Boz here is, he's had pretty good numbers, all throughout the minor league level, like I said. And then, I don't know, either something just clicked or something happened. And all of a sudden now this year, he really put it together. And you see him make massive strides and is now, pitching well at the big league level. So that's definitely very encouraging, very good start. And those are the kind of numbers in AAA for a pitcher like him that I'm really concerned about. I don't really care. His ERA could have been double what it was. And I see that strikeout to walk ratio, and I'm very happy. His ERA could have been half of what it was. And he could have walked 5 times as many guys, and I'd be very concerned, So very nice mix of numbers. Great big league debut. And I'm guessing that he was maybe afraid of not having a great debut and, maybe seeing his buff dad give him a little ass whooping after the game, if he walked too many guys. So, you never know. So
I think another big takeaway too is just, a lot of times when the young guys come up and, they can get kind of they can tend to nibble at the plate or, not look to attack hitters. But I think, his zone rate was almost 50%. So he went up there, had a game plan, attack the hitters, and not shy away. Like you said, against the great Blue Jays lineup. So
yeah, you don't want to come. It'd be so easy to, be very confident, be very comfortable in the minor leagues. And then now you're facing Vlad. And exactly. And now you're trying to be a little cute with things, and you're throwing a bunch of pitches and walking guys and getting hit around when you do make a mistake. And so it says a lot that he went through those 5 innings, minimal pitches and a lot of strikes. And again, he didn't do that against the Pirates. He did that against the Blue Jays, who are one of the hottest teams in baseball and one of the best offenses in baseball. So major kudos to him.
Yep, absolutely. let's get on to the next topic here. This one, I guess it might be some of the season of some of the struggling, some of the stars here. But the former MVP and arguably top 3 outfielder after an amazing 2018 and 2019, Christopher Yelich. However, since those 18-19 seasons, it's been a little bit of a different story. It's almost been more of a roster liability at times. While he has had his fair share of injuries, even when he's healthy, though, he's been bad. So far in 2021, he's only slashing 247, 358, 370, and only has 8 home runs. While, the OBP looks, in line and looks not too bad, but I think the biggest issue is the slugging. It's down across the board. He's only had, obviously, the 8 home runs, only got 28 extra base hits. Just, to play the devil's advocate, though, when you look back to the beginning of 2020, he's appeared in 165 games. So basically, a little over a full season, but close to it. He's slashing 232, 357, 391 with 20 home runs, 104 runs, 70 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases. So not awful. Obviously, the ratios are bad, but the counting stats are there. But this is definitely not your typical Yelich season. It's been 2 years in a row now. So, what are your thoughts on Yelich? Is he someone that you can confidently roll out in your lineups? And will we ever see him bounce back that MVP form when it was, 30 plus home runs and the 200 RBI plus run seasons?
Well, I tell you, for me, I really think it is injuries. I don't think that the guy just, forgot how to play baseball or he's getting old. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's still just 29 years old, right?
He's almost 30.
Yeah, but he's just 29.
Number.
So that's literally, right around the guys, the time guys start figuring out, 26, 27, 28, 29. So it's not like that's the concern. I really think that it's just purely a health thing from him. And to me, that takes me back to pitchers, and that's why I'm so fearful of pitchers is because it doesn't take much for them to get hurt. And then all of a sudden, there's not a lot that, they can do when they're hurt, obviously. So I think that Yelich is still hurting to what level? I don't know, but it's got to be pretty drastic. So it's more a matter of can he get healthy? And I feel a lot less confident in somebody being able to get back and being healthy than I do just stopping sucking. So if he was sucking, I would feel a lot more confident.
Yeah.
But with how I view it, and I put Bellinger right in the same mix. Bellinger's obviously much younger, but again,
Right.
If these guys both get back to being healthy, all of a sudden they're both top 10 dynasty, players again. If they can't, they're going to continue to fall. And by this same time next year, if they both have this same season that they just had, you could be looking at these guys outside of the top 100, which 2 years ago would have just seemed just out of hand ridiculous.
I'm going to be going out of my way this offseason to be buying Christian Yelich everywhere because it's the perfect time where owners are going to be scared. So they might take something that's not pennies on the dollar, but let's say like a dime on a dollar or a quarter. And that's going to be worth it for you. As an owner, you're going to be, if it pans out, it's going to be championships for you. And if you lose, you're only losing a quarter. So it's going to be this next year will show if he's what he is. If he can come in next year without any health issues at all, no injuries, the real Christian Yelich will stand up.
All right, so let's go through and do a little test on you then. Let me look and see where I have him ranked, and then I'm going to go down a list of guys that I have ranked behind him, and you tell me if this offseason, if you would make that trade. Okay?
Okay, let's go.
So Yelich or Bellinger?
Yelich.
Yelich or Judge?
Judge.
Wow, from
Whoa.
a Red Sox fan.
I thought that was a layup for you.
I thought that was a middle finger. Yelich or Bryant?
Yeah, probably Yelich.
Trent Grisham?
Yelich.
Byron Buxton?
Bucks.
Yeah. Rosarena?
Yelich.
Kirilloff.
Yelich.
George Springer.
Yelich. They're the same guy.
Yeah, kind of. We'll do two more. Austin Meadows.
Meadows.
Starling Marte.
Oh, segue. Love it.
Yeah, I know. You like that. That's where I stopped, right?
Probably
I've been doing
Yelich.
this for a while, guys.
Yeah.
Who'd you say?
Yelich. I don't believe in
Yelich.
stolen bases.
So that's kind of, so you're a little up in the air. You may or may not be willing to make those moves, but
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. But speaking of Starling Marte, what are the odds, Jason?
Yeah, right. Let's go right into our next topic there with a nice segue. Starling Marte, who was traded from the Marlins to the Athletics at the deadline in July, is now having a bit of a bounce back here in 2021. He currently has 45 stolen bases, which leads the majors and is only 2 shy of his career high. He is also slashing .311, .385, and slugging .451. Both his batting average and on-base percentage are in line to be career highs as well. On the other hand, though, the power is down. He only has 11 home runs, which is his lowest total since 2017, aside from last year, because you can't count that. But he's also walking at a career best 8.8%. And additionally, his 363 WOBA is also a career high. So I think I'm basically just going to throw this out there for you guys. What are your thoughts on a 32-year-old Marte who's still stealing bases at an elite level? He can display power at times. Can he be a top 10 outfielder in Dynasty as a 32-year-old?
No, he sure can't. I would say right now, even with this particular season, I would say he is top 20 at best. Moving forward, just because he is more of a speed guy and you are seeing that power dissipate as well, you would maybe expect the other way around. I would say, he might be more of a 25 to 30 guy. So top 10, absolutely not.
No.
Top 20, maybe. More like 25 to 30 to me. Let's see what Andrew's got here. Do you guys know Andrew or no? Are you?
I don't know. Do I?
Okay, he's in a 30-team league with me. One of Nate's, but need to get all three of you in a new dynasty. Well, he doesn't. We're already in a Dynasty One Stop league together. We're in 30 Rock, Andrew. But I appreciate the comment. Appreciate the support, my friend.
Absolutely, love it.
I love startup draft.
Yeah, I know. I really like when they start off as mocks and then some asshole convinces people to start a real league.
Oh yeah. Wait, this wasn't a mock.
Yeah, that's what started all this.
Yeah, perfect draft. Hashtag perfect draft.
Starling Marte is not top 10 or top 20. He's 25, 30, like Dave said. He's 32. He's good. He steals bases. If stealing bases is your thing, sure, go do it. But I don't. He doesn't hit enough taters for me.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable. I mean he's shown 20 home run seasons before, but that's about the highest you're going to get. I mean, I don't think you can expect anything higher. I don't think you can get 30. So if you put him against guys, like Acuna, Soto. Those guys are going to be hitting almost. They're I think 40-40 for Acuna like last year or 19, I should say. So
they're on a different level. Top 10 outfielders on a whole different level. And Starling Marte's had an amazing year, and he's just not even top 20.
Yeah, no.
Yep, love it. All right, well, let's get on to the next topic here. This one's another mid-season trade. However, this time it was actually in 2020. But a little over a year ago, the Diamondbacks traded Robbie Ray to the Blue Jays. At that time of the trade, his ERA was at the 7.84, and he was in the midst of one of his worst seasons as a starter. Now in 2021, he's rebounded in a big way. In his 30 starts so far in 2021, he's 12-6 with a 2.72 ERA, a 1.04 WHIP, and his 238 strikeouts lead all of baseball and is also a career high for Robbie Ray. In addition to that, his 6.3% walk rate is also a career high. He's even in serious considerations for the AL Cy Young. So as you can see, Robbie's not just back on track to being fantasy relevant, he's also performing like a fantasy ace. Is this season an outlier? Do you think Robbie Ray can continue this type of production beyond this season, or is this just a one-off? It was a change of scenery. So is this something, to account for going forward?
Nicholas?
I would say all of that is right. As in, he's better. He's not. If Robbie Ray's your best pitcher moving forward, like he's a flash. This Robbie Ray is a flash in the pan. He's definitely better than what he was. So like he's fine, but he's not going to be your number one fantasy dynasty ace or whatever the hell you want to call it. He's always been the strikeout guy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's always been like, oh, maybe this is the year that Robbie Ray will break out. Maybe he'll do it now. No, he's just not that guy, which is fine. He doesn't need to be that guy. He can be your number 3, your number 4, and you'd be in terrific shape. But AL East, tough division. I think the fact that he's in the Cy Young race is more a testament to how bad the Cy Young race is.
Right? Yeah.
Like there's no award that I could like guess who's winning and be right. Like Vlad should win the AL MVP, although it's probably going to be Ohtani just because he's Ohtani. But AL Cy Young, I can't even think who else would be in like Cole, but he sucks.
What if Robbie Ray wins AL Cy Young and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. wins the Triple Crown?
And they don't make the playoffs.
Yes, and they don't make the playoffs. Like,
That's possible.
What the fuck? So 2 things about Robbie Ray. First of all, fuck you, Dan.
First of all.
So Dan says that he bought Robbie Ray for pennies from me last year, and he's about to win our league there. What I would like to know from Dan, since I imagine you're listening, Dan, I would like you to put the return for that deal in there. You say for pennies, but let's see exactly what that deal was before you just make that claim, my friend.
Sunday.
Next, I want to say is, I agree with Nick. I think that, I don't know if this is like, if you want to call us a flash in the pan because it's lasted all year long, but this is definitely going to be an outlier season for him. He's never had a problem striking guys out. He's always had a problem with ERA, but it's because he walks so many guys. Like his issue has always been, control. Because he's always in the bottom of the league in walks. And all of a sudden this year, the strikeouts are there at the same level that, has been at his peak, but his walks are cut in half basically. So that's a recipe for absolute success. So I don't know whether that's going to stay or go, but fun fact, do you guys know who Robbie Ray made his MLB debut for? Which team?
I want to say
San Diego Padres.
The Detroit Tigers.
Oh.
I wanted to say the Tigers, but I'm like, is he baiting us right now? I don't know.
The Detroit Tigers had him at one point, and here's what I remember. I remember it was either 1 or 2, maybe it was 3 starts, but it was a couple of starts, and he was dominant. He was absolutely dominant. And then he just shit the bed, and that was it.
They got Shane Green for him.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah,
all right, we
starts.
All right, we got details. We got breaking news, guys. We have details on the Robbie Ray trade. So I don't know exactly when this happened, but it must have been last off season, so a year and a half ago maybe. I got Clark Schmidt, who we just recently talked about, and my boy Adrian Morion. And apparently,
you traded for 2 pitching prospects.
Well, yeah, it was a different time in my life, Nick. But listen, man,
a mere 365 days ago.
Yeah, so Robbie Ray was obviously, a year and a half ago was, you're looking for, that. And then with Rizzo, I mean, I had Vlad and I had Bellinger. So Rizzo was a guy I was looking to move anyways. And so I took a shot on two guys that I really like, Moreon more than anybody. And Clark Smith subsequently has been traded, and I still have Moreon because, well, he's injured. But thank you, Dan. That sounds about right, though. So I have no regrets on that trade. Made sense at the time. Doesn't look so hot now, but at the time that deal made perfect sense.
Hindsight's always 20/20. At the time, I'm sure Robbie Ray was like a throw-in in that deal.
He might have been, actually. I mean, he probably was. All right. Well, are you ready, Nick?
Yeah.
Down on the farm. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of that, boys. I like it.
Yeah.
So this week we're going with one of my favorite pitching prospects, which is almost an oxymoron in itself. Daniel Espino of the Cleveland Indians, Guardians, whatever the fuck you want to call him. He's a little low on my rankings, though I haven't updated my rankings for September yet. Some football bullshit's happening. But yeah, exactly. He was 449 in my rankings. And, that's low when you hear me talk about, he's one of my favorite pitching prospects. And, the kid at this moment could, anywhere from a top 10, maybe even a top 5, according to Mr. Eric Cross, pitching prospect. So he's probably due for a little bit of a bump, but he's still so far away. We're probably looking at a 2023 ETA, second half of the season, or later. So maybe even 2024. So he's still got a ways to go. But, kid was drafted 24th overall in 2019. I think he was the best prep pitcher in the draft. I think that's a pretty common consensus.
Agree. Yep.
As far as his, stuff is concerned, at least a 70 grade fastball. He's got two different kinds that he throws. He throws both the traditional 4-seamer and the 2-seamer. That 4-seamer can hit triple digits. More routinely sits about 95, 97, which, is absolutely fantastic, but probably screens of Tommy John. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, that 2-seamer, he throws that with some really nasty sinks. So very similar pitches, but, they come very differently. That 4-seamer actually has got a little bit of run on it as well. So it's not a straight 97, because a straight 97 becomes a 500-foot home run. But, just that pitch alone is going to allow him, to kind of dominate in the minor leagues. If you've got a good pitch, specifically if it's a fast fastball or a really, really good off-speed pitch, when you're talking about low A and high A, that kind of stuff can dominate hitters just right there, without needing to be good anywhere else. But for him to have, success at the big league level, he's going to have to learn to better control that. And, so we're talking about, Robbie Ray is an example of a guy that went from having all the upside in the world and being able to strike everybody out, but he would just walk people, and that was absolutely killing him. So, Espino is kind of in the same boat where he's going to have to get that command figured out. Otherwise, we'll be seeing him in the bullpen, at best. But like I said before, though, as a little foreshadowing, it's the last thing that usually comes for young pitchers is that, control, that command. So he's still got, a long time to get that, figured out. Indians, are always churning out pitching prospects, so they're not in a massive rush for him to come up. He's got, at least 2 more years, to work on everything. So it's a concern, but it's not a death sentence at this point. He also has got a slider. He throws about 81 to 83. Really sharp bite on that. So that's a nice pitch for him. I'd say that's about a 55, 60 grade. So a little bit above average. He's got a decent curveball, throws that in the low 70s, 72, 75 neighborhood. It's probably about a 50 grade pitch right now. So if he can get, those fastballs and those 2 pitches to get, 60 and above, we start talking about, borderline ace material there. But like I said, with that command, he's got a heavy risk of, being a bullpen piece, which doesn't necessarily, mean that that's a terrible thing because, that electric stuff does have closer written all over it. He can scrap all but, his best, 2 or 3 pitches. And, he's got a shot at closing, games there. But at the end of the day, I think he's a very high upside arm that just, needs some more time to develop. So I don't know that you can necessarily get him cheap because he's not an uncommon or an unpopular name. But, if you were, not risk averse and, decided that was the guy maybe you wanted to target this offseason, young pitching with high upside is something you were looking for, you're not going to get a discount on him by any means, but he's the kind of guy that, at least if you're going to target young pitching on, the Padres, on the Astros, on Cleveland, Tampa Bay, those are the teams where, if you're going to target young pitching, you probably are best off looking there. They tend to develop it very well.
Yeah. Love the take. Love Daniel Espino. I think it's whatever. But when I remember watching that draft, I was shocked to see him fall all the way to 24.
He could have went way earlier and been justified.
He was hitting triple digits coming out of high school. I know a lot of teams sometimes shy away from that, but I thought that was a steal for Cleveland at 24 in that draft.
Yeah, odds are he'll get Tommy John before he makes his debut, and we might not see him until 2025, if ever. But again, if you're seeking high upside young pitching at a price that is very good compared to their upside, that would be exactly the type of guy to go seek. But you got to realize that, you got a couple years at least until, you see him. And that's kind of under best case circumstances, barring an injury, of course.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on him, Nicholas?
I'm just gonna say one thing: he could not be in a better organization.
Exactly. No, yeah, pretty much. Like I said, there's like 4 of them that I'll shoot for, and
pitching with the Guardians Indians baseball team. They're perfect. It's a match made in heaven.
You got that right.
They make
boys.
Cal Quantrill look unbelievable.
Yeah, right. Anything else we want to throw in before we get to building some DFS lineups for this weekend?
Jason, how are your football teams doing?
So I've been switching a lot of my redraft seasonal leagues over, and I'm kind of ditching those. I'm going to Dynasty. I think I'm in like 4 Dynasty leagues.
Oh, wow. Nice.
All of which have been started in the last 3 years.
And you have Justin Fields in all of them?
No, surprisingly, I don't. And they're all super flex too.
No, he's trying to win.
But yeah, surprisingly, all my Dynasty teams are doing really well, and all my seasonal redraft leagues have been in the pooper.
It's because when you're in a Dynasty league, you think you know better than the redraft, or your mindset is like, right. Oh, I need to like stash this guy maybe because he might pop.
Absolutely,
but you don't need him.
Yeah, I'm still taking chances on Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the second round of seasonal drafts. So like,
he can't be this bad.
I think he is.
He is this bad.
To think they could have had Jonathan Taylor, they could have had who else is in that class that I'm forgetting, but yeah,
but that kind of stuff is unfair because Jonathan Taylor in Indy is in a completely different situation than CEH in Kansas City.
Running back.
But he was also, in my opinion,
they could have drafted an offensive lineman and they could have won last year's Super Bowl.
That would have helped too. Instead of taking a running back at 32 in
we need to do we need to start doing like half baseball, half football at this time of the year.
Yeah, right. We're going off on a tangent
we've talked just as much about football today. So I think on that note alone, I'm gonna have to cut it. I'm gonna have to cut us off before. Yeah, this is getting out of hand. Maybe we'll do a second show during the week and we'll talk football. But I've already got one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, guys.
See you next week.
We shall see you next week.